After I was reborn, I had my driver pick me up in our priciest car. All because my two-faced friend wanted my childhood sweetheart. He made everyone think I was the school's only low-income student. He even posed as a rich heir from the capital set. So when he approached me again after school, offering me a ride in his family's luxury car, a limited edition Rolls-Royce pulled up outside. As everyone stared in awe, my driver got out and respectfully approached me. "Young master, your father sent me to take you home." "Got it." The other guys froze when they realized it was mine. "Ethan? How could it be Ethan? Who is Ethan, really? How can his family afford a car like that?" "Noah, you're close to Ethan. Do you know what his family does?" Noah felt his cheek burning, like he'd just been slapped. "A limited edition Rolls-Royce? How much does that even cost?" Noah quietly clenched his fists. I was already inside when, through the mirror, I spotted Noah's father. But after my car stole the show, his Porsche looked like nothing. Surprised by my change, Martin asked, "Young master, I thought you hated showing off." I changed my mind. Starting today, I want to ride every day. Make it flashy. Use a different car each day. My request thrilled Martin. "You should have done this years ago." I was the Hayes family's pride and joy. They'd treasured me since birth and spoiled me rotten. I looked at Martin. "Dinner plans tonight?" "Yes. It's about your marriage to Ms. Whitmore." "Perfect." I clearly remembered this dinner from my last life. My parents had wanted to end the engagement, but Victoria was determined to marry Madison into my family. Madison hated the idea, but couldn't defy her mother. After all, the Whitmore family was collapsing. Without the Hayes family's help, they'd be bankrupt within 6 months. In my last life, I couldn't bear to see my crush's family ruined. So I agreed to marry Madison after graduation. But I wouldn't be that stupid again. We soon reached the Crownstone Hotel and I got out. I immediately spotted Madison at the entrance. Outside the hotel, Madison deliberately waited for me. When I approached, she said coldly, "Ethan, I'm warning you. I don't like you, and I'll never marry you." "Same here." My answer made Madison frown. She'd always known how I felt. Everyone knew I had a crush on her. But neither of us ever said it aloud. She wasn't interested in me anyway. Now I was saying I didn't like her or want to marry her. Madison scoffed, assuming it was just my bruised ego talking. My parents were seated in the private dining room. With Richard gone, Victoria represented the Whitmore family alone. The moment Madison and I entered, Victoria warmly took my hand. "Ethan, you've slimmed down. You're even more handsome." But I remembered how calculating Victoria was. When I married Madison before, Victoria went after my money. Even before our wedding, she was plotting to seize our marital assets. She later retired comfortably on the money I brought them. She even dressed up for Madison and Noah's wedding. Seeing her phony smile, I pulled my hand away. "Mrs. Whitmore, I've actually gained 10 pounds. Let's just get down to business." My cold response left Victoria embarrassed. Madison looked annoyed. "Ethan, don't talk to my mom like that. I'm only telling the truth. Why are you so worked up?" Madison snorted at my reply. "Ethan, lose the spoiled rich kid attitude. I know you look down on the Whitmore family. We're the ones marrying up. If you don't want me, just say so." Victoria angrily smacked Madison's arm. "Madison, what nonsense are you talking about? The Whitmore family was already falling apart. Without the Hayes family, how could those two ever rebuild it?" Madison made no effort to hide her anger. "Mom, don't stop me. I'm telling the truth." My parents' faces immediately fell. They'd been maintaining basic courtesy, but now they couldn't even fake a smile. So this was how Madison had always viewed their son. "Your daughter clearly doesn't want my son. Let's call off the wedding." "Daniel, Madison's just being immature. Please don't be angry. I'll make her apologize to Ethan. Besides, hasn't Ethan always liked Madison? They're just having a spat. Right, Ethan?" Victoria looked anxiously at me. I calmly replied, "You're mistaken, Mrs. Whitmore. Madison and I were only childhood friends. Outside, she already told me. She doesn't like me and will never marry me. I feel the same. So I came today to make this clear. I'm ending my engagement to Madison." Victoria froze at my words. Madison stood there stunned. I'd always found excuses to talk to her. She knew that. How could I suddenly call it off? My parents were just as shocked. I'd always been stubborn. They'd begged me not to marry into the Whitmore family, but I never listened. Why had I suddenly changed my mind? "Mrs. Whitmore will skip dinner. Our families should keep their distance from now on." I stood and walked over to my parents. "Mom, Dad, let's go." Seeing my parents alive before me, my eyes welled up. In my last life, my stubbornness made the Hayes family a target of Madison's revenge. Madison was an ungrateful snake. My parents had done everything for her family. But once the Whitmores rose to power, Madison's first target was Hayes Holdings. Her pride was matched only by her spite. She believed my parents arranging our marriage was an insult to her family and charity toward her. So once she gained power, she rushed to destroy us. to erase her so-called humiliation. A woman like that didn't deserve our help. Back home at dinner, I decided to lose weight. Mom said nothing. She quietly brought me a plate. I stared at the boiled greens and shrimp. Mom said gently, "You still have to eat. I'll have Nora make you healthy meals." My eyes grew wet. Having them both here felt wonderful. After my last life, I finally understood the value of family. I'd been insecure about my weight and ignored all the love my parents gave me. I foolishly sought that love elsewhere. "Thanks, Mom." I lowered my head and devoured the greens, determined to slim down within 3 months. The next day, I was starving. When I stepped on the scale, I'd lost 5 pounds. I was thrilled, but knew it was only water weight. Weight loss took discipline. Couldn't let up. Every day, a luxury car took me to and from school. My classmates were green with envy. As I sat down, Noah handed me a box of chocolates. I may have been insecure as a kid. But I wasn't that overweight. Then I suddenly started gaining weight. I thought stress was the cause. Later, I realized something was off. The timing of my weight gain lined up perfectly with meeting Noah. Besides tempting me with food, he must have drugged me to make me gain weight. "Don't be shy. You've been working so hard to lose weight. One little piece won't hurt." He shoved the chocolates into my hands. But I suddenly yelped, dropping the box on the floor. The crash drew the whole class's attention. After a few words with Diane, she confiscated the chocolates. Watching the imported chocolates get confiscated, Noah's face darkened. Losing them was nothing. The problem was what he'd put inside. Seeing Noah's scheme fail, I calmly sat back down. Diane loved freebies. Those chocolates were expensive. She'd probably eat every last one. I couldn't wait to see how Noah handled the fallout. When the bell rang, Noah rushed to the faculty office and apologized to Diane, but he couldn't get the chocolates back. As he left, he ran into Madison. Seeing him dejected, she asked, "Noah, why were you in the office?" Noah explained. When he mentioned me, Madison grew impatient. "Stay away from Ethan from now on. Did you forget what happened at the pool? You said Ethan pulled you into the water. He's been up to no good from the start. You don't need a friend like him." Noah secretly delighted in her defending him. Thinking of my luxury rides, he couldn't resist asking, "Okay, is Ethan's family rich? A different car picks him up every day. They must have money, right? Aren't you childhood friends? He means nothing to me. Why should I care if his family's rich?" Noah heard the irritation in her voice. "Sorry, I was just asking." Seeing Noah panic, Madison realized she'd been too harsh. She reassured him. "Okay, relax. I know you're worried I like him. Don't worry, you're the one I like." Noah suddenly saw me behind Madison. I just climbed the stairs and walked right into that bombshell. Noah quickly pushed Madison away. "Ethan, don't get the wrong idea. I was just..." When Madison realized I was there, she leaned right into Noah's arms. "There's no misunderstanding. We love each other." She was desperate to see heartbreak and regret in my eyes. After all, I'd always had a crush on her. I used to follow her everywhere, and even tried to lose weight for her. She wanted me to regret rejecting her forever. But while she waited for my regret, I pointed at them without expression and called to Principal Shaw, who was making his rounds. "Principal Shaw, Madison and Noah are dating." Seeing Principal Shaw approach, Noah instantly shoved Madison away. When Principal Shaw saw Noah and Madison, two top students, embracing, his face hardened. "You two come with me." Principal Shaw took them away. As she left, Madison shot me a vicious glare. Her childish stunt didn't bother me. The current Madison couldn't hurt me. After class, Noah returned with his head down. Everyone crowded around, asking what happened. But Noah only glared at me. Madison stormed into the classroom and grabbed my arm. "You're coming with me." She was strong enough to practically drag me out. As I wondered how to humiliate her again, a pale arm suddenly crossed in front of me and pinned Madison's hand. "Let go." That voice was familiar. I'd heard it when I was reborn. It was Chloe. You think you can defend Ethan?" Madison tried to shake Chloe off, but Chloe didn't budge. Without much effort, she kept Madison trapped. Madison's face darkened when she couldn't break free. She glanced at Noah sitting nearby. She couldn't stand looking weak in front of the guy she liked. Caught off guard, Chloe stumbled into a desk. I immediately shouted, "Ms. Collins." Madison hit someone. "Ethan, shut up." Madison went pale, but it was too late. Ms. Collins rushed over and found Chloe clutching her stomach, pale-faced, while Madison angrily pointed at me. Ms. Collins had had enough. "Madison, how many scenes will you cause today? Have your mother come in after school." Ms. Collins quickly took Madison away. I turned to the pale Chloe. "I'll take you to the health office." Before she could answer, I picked her up. Chloe froze, staring at my profile. Our classmates immediately began teasing us. Chloe frowned and gave them an icy glare. The class went silent, too scared to keep teasing. Chloe refused to let me carry her any farther. She took my wrist and led me out. I stared at her hand around my wrist. I could clearly see her ears turning red. I remembered that when I was reborn, someone had pulled me from the water and given me CPR. Without thinking, I asked, "Chloe, were you the one who gave me CPR at the aquatic center?" The question startled even me. Chloe jerked her hand back like she'd been shocked. "Sorry, I didn't mean to. I know. I just wanted to thank you." Chloe said nothing and kept walking. At the health office, Dr. Pierce examined her injury. "It's nothing serious. Some medicated oil will help. It's $80 a bottle. Just pay up front." Chloe pressed her lips together. "No thanks." She turned and left the health office. I hurried after her. "Chloe." She had no intention of waiting. I rushed after her, slipped, and nearly fell. Chloe quickly grabbed my arm and steadied me. Are you hurt?" I shook my head and pulled out a bottle of medicated oil. I pressed it into Chloe's hand. "Your injury isn't bad. I've been using this lately. Give it a try." Chloe stared at the bottle in silence. I knew Chloe was Richard's illegitimate daughter. Victoria and Madison often abused her at home. With the Whitmores struggling, Victoria wouldn't give her a dime. Chloe pushed the bottle back. "Thanks, but I don't need it." I considered her pride. "It's not a handout. I have a paid job for you." The mention of pay made Chloe stop. "I know the Whitmores don't give you spending money. And you saved me, so I'd like to make a deal." "What kind of deal?" "You know I'm trying to lose weight. Help me do it, and I'll pay you $500 a month. Deal?" Chloe frowned. "I'm not worth that much." "Of course. I'll pay you only if it works." "Of course. I'll pay you only if it works." I pulled a few bills from my pocket and placed them in Chloe's hand with the medicated oil. "That's your pay for this week, plus my thanks. Wait for me at lunch and during afternoon break every day." Before Chloe could answer, the bell rang. I pulled Chloe toward class. "Come on. Class is starting." When I got back to Honors Class A, the teacher still hadn't arrived. But someone had knocked over my desk and chair. My books and backpack contents were scattered everywhere. My eyes darkened at the sight. Everyone in class was watching and snickering. "Who did this?" No one answered. Dylan said arrogantly, "Who knows? Maybe the wind did it." Dylan said arrogantly, "Who knows? Maybe the wind did it." But snitches deserve to be punished. One look at Dylan told me he did it. He was always sucking up to Noah. I scoffed, walked over, and flipped Dylan's desk. Dylan jumped out of his chair. "Ethan, are you insane?" I finished by kicking his chair over. Dylan's shouts echoed through the classroom. I glared at him. "Shut up. I'm warning all of you. If you don't want your parents called in, don't touch anything in my desk. I'm not someone you can push around." Noah stood up, acting morally superior. "Ethan, that's too far. We're all classmates. How can you treat a classmate like this? You shut up. You broke the rules by dating, then played the victim, and had your friend take the blame for you. If I report this to the teacher, they'll get disciplinary marks because of you. Is that how you treat your friends?" Noah's face fell. My guilt trip nailed him to the wall of shame. When Noah fell silent, Dylan stepped in to defend him again. "Ethan, stop making things up. We just don't like you. Noah had nothing to do with it." "Is that so? Then you're admitting you knocked over my desk. If you can knock over my desk today, you might hurt me tomorrow. I won't just tell the teacher. I'll call the cops too." Dylan went pale when I threatened to call the cops. "I'll call the cops too." Dylan went pale when I threatened to call the cops. When I turned to leave, he grabbed my arm. "Ethan, stop right there." Ms. Grant walked in and saw Dylan dragging me. I went limp, so when Dylan pulled, he yanked me into the overturned desk. Ms. Grant hurried over and helped me up. "Ethan, are you all right?" I shook my pale face. "I'm fine, Ms. Grant." "What happened? Why is this classroom a mess?" Dylan and the others stood stiffly nearby. They didn't dare speak, watching nervously for my answer. I glanced at them, knowing I'd made my point. "We had a little misunderstanding, but it's settled now. Right, Dylan?" Dylan and the others froze when I didn't report them. Ms. Grant clearly didn't believe me, but still helped me up. "Fine, as long as it's settled. But don't let me find out this was revenge." As she spoke, Ms. Grant looked at Noah. The news that Noah and Madison were dating had already spread through the faculty office. Ms. Grant's look made Noah squirm. After class, Noah approached me as I headed out for a run. He guiltily put an arm around my shoulder. "Ethan, I tried to stop Dylan when they bullied you, but I couldn't." "I'm sorry. You weren't hurt, were you?" I gave him a cold look. "You had nothing to do with it?" I turned to leave, but Noah hurried in front of me. "Ethan, I admitted I was wrong. Please forgive me. We're best friends." Noah hurried in front of me, panicking. "Ethan, I admitted I was wrong. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. We're best friends. I know you're upset because Madison confessed her feelings to me. That's why you told the teacher on us." but you can't force feelings. Noah deliberately raised his voice, so everyone in the hall could hear. Seeing everyone enjoying the gossip, I couldn't help but laugh. Madison, I already rejected her. You can have her. With that, I brushed past Noah. He froze. What did I mean I'd rejected her? Just then, Madison emerged from the office, scowling. Miss Collins had made her stand for a full class and docked her credits. Ethan. Madison's angry call made me stop. She immediately linked arms with Noah. I glanced back at Noah and sneered inwardly. In my last life, Madison loved Noah for years. She simply couldn't have him when she was young. What you can't have young can haunt you for life. But getting it young doesn't mean it will work out. Especially with the Whitmores nearing bankruptcy. And Noah being nothing more than a driver's son. The problems they'd face would be far bigger than Noah's lie. Their ending was obvious. I ignored them and walked away. After the last class, I waited for Chloe outside Class F. I also saw Victoria storm into the school. A crowd had gathered outside the office. Even from outside Class F, I heard a sharp slap from inside. Victoria's shrill voice rang out. Madison, have you no shame? Who let you date? Madison was Victoria's only hope. If dating ruined Madison's grades, the Whitmores were finished. Especially now. Besides the Hayes family, who else could save them? Then Chloe's clear voice reached my ears. Ethan. I turned and found Chloe standing before me. Come on. Let's go to the aquatic center. At your current weight, running won't do much. Can hurt your knees. Swimming suits you better. Then come to my house. We have a pool. The sudden invitation caught Chloe off guard. Don't worry. I'll cover the ride. I pressed $50 into Chloe's hand. Chloe stared at the money without a word. Then pushed it back to me. I've already been paid. I agreed to help you lose weight, so I won't charge you extra. I didn't press her. We walked to the school entrance, one behind the other. A luxury car was waiting in front of us. The driver opened the door for Chloe. Chloe climbed in stiffly. I followed, noticing her nervous expression. I smiled and said, Don't be nervous. My parents are very kind. They just hate Madison. Chloe said nothing. We soon reached the Hayes estate. The moment we stepped inside, the smell of food drifted down the hall. I suggested, let's eat first. We'll need the energy to work out. No thanks. Mom interrupted Chloe's carefully prepared refusal. Ethan, change your shoes and come eat. When Mom reached the entryway, she finally noticed Chloe beside me. Chloe? Dad came down from upstairs, too. He looked puzzled to see Chloe with me. Didn't our son hate the Whitmores? Why was he suddenly so close to Chloe? Mom, Dad, Chloe's here to help me lose weight. Set an extra place for her every night. I said it casually, leaving Chloe no room to refuse. My parents exchanged a glance. Though they disliked the Whitmores, they politely invited Chloe inside for dinner. In the dining room, 6 dishes and a soup were set out. Since I was dieting, I could only eat shrimp and broccoli. Mom noticed how thin Chloe was and gave her an extra serving of rice. Eat slowly. There's plenty more. Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. Chloe finished every bite. Afterward, she silently started to clear the dishes. I immediately put down my chopsticks. I called to Nora in the kitchen. Nora, take care of the dishes. Nora took the dishes from Chloe. Miss Whitmore, I'll handle them. Chloe opened her mouth, but couldn't get the words out. I led Chloe to the backyard pool. The pool was as large as the school's aquatic center. Chloe stared in surprise. I came out in my swimsuit. Chloe handed me a weight loss plan. Here. She'd already made a detailed plan based on my build during break. I was surprised. You finished this already? I looked over the detailed plan. It listed what I should eat and how much water to drink each day, as well as my workouts. Chloe said seriously, you can't lose weight by starving yourself. You ate too little tonight. Eat more cucumbers and cherry tomatoes. Winter melon and corn are fine too. You can eat them, but don't eat until you're full. Go to bed a little hungry every night. I nodded, though I still looked confused. Chloe was silent for a moment, then said, I'll supervise you every day. You don't need to understand it all. I nodded. My parents peeked around the corner and watched Chloe supervise my swimming from the poolside. We barely spoke the whole time. Mom looked puzzled. What's going on? Are they really just working out? Dad was just as confused. Did Ethan fall for someone else and stop liking Madison? Did he fall for Chloe? Their back and forth caught Chloe's and my attention. I stuck my head out of the pool. Mom, Dad, what are you doing? Hearing my voice, my parents quickly stepped out from the corner. Your mother and I brought you some fruit. You can eat it when you get tired, right? If swimming gets boring, use the gym upstairs. It has tons of equipment. My parents smiled awkwardly. I could tell they'd gotten the wrong idea. I climbed out and took the fruit from Mom. Thanks, Mom. Go back inside. Stop watching. I ushered my parents away, then looked at Chloe. Let's keep going. I pretended nothing happened and kept swimming, feeling embarrassed. Sure enough, when I poked my head out again, I met Chloe's deep gaze. I gave an awkward laugh. Have some fruit. Eat some fruit. Then I ducked back underwater. Chloe said nothing, but her ears turned red. For 7 straight days, Chloe and I went home together. But no one really noticed. All the students' attention was focused on Madison and Noah. After her mother was called in, Madison fought with her family over Noah. She even threatened to give up her inheritance. It nearly sent Victoria to the hospital. Even the teachers couldn't do anything about Madison and Noah. When I got to school that day, a student rushed in shouting, "Something's wrong. There's been an incident." The moment I heard that, I thought of Diane. 7 days had passed. The effects should be showing by now. The other students clearly had no idea what happened. But eager for gossip, they all rushed toward the main building. Diane's shrill voice came from the office. "Miss Collins, you owe me an explanation today." Miss Collins looked helpless. She had no idea what was happening. She could only send a student to fetch Noah. When Noah was called into the office, Diane immediately fixed him with a sharp look. "Noah, get over here." She dragged him before Miss Collins and demanded, "What did you put in those chocolates?" Diane had been slender, but in just 1 week, her figure had visibly changed. Noah went deathly pale. "I don't know. I didn't do anything." Seeing Noah's frightened face, Miss Collins immediately took his side. "Miss Foster, you gained the weight yourself. Why blame my student? Are you saying my student drugged you? I've been dieting. All I've had was that box of chocolates and tea. How could I gain 15 pounds in 1 week? I had the chocolates tested. The results showed that someone had added hormones." "Noah, that's quite a stunt." The students outside gasped. "What? Hormones? That's horrifying." Noah's so kind. He'd never drugged Diane. It was the juiciest gossip they'd ever heard. Miss Collins's face darkened. She read the conclusion on the test report and yanked Noah over. "Noah, is this true? Did you do this?" Noah went pale. He never expected 1 box of chocolates to become this serious. How had it gotten this serious? "No, it wasn't me." "Still denying it? You're so young, yet you already know how to poison someone. What will you do when you grow up? Call your parents and have them come here. This needs to be dealt with." Diane dragged Noah toward the phone. Just then, Madison stepped forward. "I put the drugs in the chocolates. Noah had nothing to do with it." Anyone could see Madison was taking the blame for Noah. Madison pulled Noah toward her. "I drugged them. If you want a parent, call mine." So Madison's mother was called in. When Victoria heard her daughter was taking the fall for Noah, her opinion of him sank even further. But it didn't end there. Diane insisted on calling the police and having Madison disciplined. After Victoria begged repeatedly, they paid $200,000. And Madison received a major disciplinary mark. I was in a great mood and worked out even harder. Just over 10 days after my rebirth, I'd lost 20 pounds. But weight loss would only get harder from here. Still, it was a good start. With finals approaching, everyone in Honors Class A was studying hard. Every day was spent doing practice problems and memorizing notes. I was buried in my books at the library. Suddenly, someone kicked the chair across from me. I frowned and looked up. It was Madison. I was annoyed. "What do you want? You were behind the chocolates, weren't you? What makes you think it was me? Only Noah and you touched those chocolates. And you still deny it? Then why suspect me instead of Noah?" Madison looked contemptuous. "Noah's kind. You, Ethan. I never knew you were this vicious." I closed my book, utterly unfazed. "If you have a brain, investigate it yourself. Find proof that I did it, and report me. But without proof, stop playing hero for Noah. It's pathetic." Madison was provoked. She slammed the table, then rose to attack me. The next second, someone grabbed Madison's arm. "This is a library. You can't cause a scene here. Who the hell are you? Get lost." Madison tried several times to shake Chloe off, but couldn't. "It's my job to keep order in the library. Should I sound the alarm?" Madison looked from Chloe to me. "What are you two together now? Ethan, you used to chase me shamelessly. Now you've moved on to Chloe?" As soon as Madison said that, I stood before things got worse. "Chloe, don't." I quickly stood before things escalated. "Chloe, don't." Hearing me, Chloe calmed down. She looked coldly at Madison on the floor. "Watch your mouth. Next time I'll tear it apart." Madison was furious that Chloe dared lay a hand on her. Just as Madison moved to attack again, I stepped in front of Chloe. "Madison, you insulted her first. You had it coming. If you hit back, you'll be the one at fault. Do you want another disciplinary mark? Give me another one, like I care. Don't forget. One more mark, and you'll be expelled. If you're gone, what will Noah do?" At the mention of Noah, Madison's raised hand instantly froze. I knew I'd found her weak spot. I took Chloe by the arm. "Come on. Help me find somewhere else to study." Madison didn't follow. Once she left, I found another seat. What rotten luck. I'm going back to work. Chloe's tone was flat. Somehow, I sensed she was upset, so I went to reassure her. Madison was talking nonsense. She's the one with a twisted mind. Don't take it personally. I'm used to it. You're a librarian? Yeah. Why didn't you ever tell me? You never asked. Chloe shelved books while I followed her. With your grades, you should be in honors class A. Why'd you get into that fight? I forgot. Chloe clearly didn't want to discuss it. I gave an awkward laugh. Kept things from getting too tense. Chloe clearly didn't want to discuss it. I gave an awkward laugh. Kept things from getting too tense. Watching Chloe work hard shelving books, I thought about how hard her life was with the Whitmores. After a moment, I said, Chloe, I know you're a great student. Can you do me a favor? Go ahead. I need a tutor. Could you tutor me every night? I'll pay extra. How about 100 per lesson? Chloe looked up at me. You're always in the top 10. You don't need tutoring. I've been slacking off. I'm bombing every practice set. Forget the top 10. I couldn't even crack the top 100. Don't worry. If I pass finals, I'll pay you 1,000. Please help me. Seeing I wasn't lying, Chloe hesitated. I continued, if weeknights are too much, weekends are fine. Fine. I lit up when Chloe agreed. Deal. With a top student like Chloe helping, finals were in the bag. Just as I was about to get back to studying, Chloe suddenly started coughing hard. Only then did I notice how sick she looked. The coughing had turned her face and neck red. Chloe. I reached for her forehead, but she instinctively swatted my hand away. Don't. The other librarian, Emma, hurried over. Chloe, I told you to stay put while I got your medicine. Why are you wandering around? Medicine? What's wrong with Chloe? Chloe, I told you to stay put while I got your medicine. Why are you wandering around? Medicine? What's wrong with Chloe? What else? She has a fever. Madison's mother is vicious. Chloe only came home a few hours late. But she locked Chloe out all night, several nights in a row. No wonder she has a fever. Emma. Chloe's sharp warning instantly silenced Emma. I froze. All this time, Chloe had been helping me lose weight. And staying until 8 or 9 every night. The Hayes estate and Whitmore residence were only 1.2 miles apart. But she always walked home and refused a ride. I never imagined Victoria could be so heartless. That she wouldn't even let Chloe inside. Ethan, you idiot. How did you overlook this? I'm just telling the truth. Why are you mad? Emma handed Chloe the medicine. While glancing between us. Sensing the awkward mood. I'll get you some water. You two talk. Emma said that and hurried off. I looked worriedly at Chloe's pale face. Why didn't you tell me Victoria was treating you this way? It's none of your business. Of course it is. If I hadn't kept you late to help me, Victoria wouldn't have locked you out. It was my choice and you paid me. My problems have nothing to do with you. Stay out of them. With that, she turned and left. Watching her leave, I was overcome with guilt. I thought paying Chloe to help me lose weight would bring us closer and make her life easier. Instead, I'd only caused her more trouble. I thought paying Chloe to help me lose weight would bring us closer and make her life easier. Instead, I'd only caused her more trouble. That evening, I came home alone. Mom had set 5 places and froze. Ethan, why are you alone? Where's Chloe? She's sick. Sick? What happened? Did your workouts exhaust her? She's been tutoring me and getting home late. Victoria locked her out so she got a fever. Dad came out of the living room as I finished. Mom, Dad, I need your help. My parents exchanged a glance as night fell. Chloe dragged herself to the Whitmore residence. She ran into Madison and Victoria sitting in a luxury car. Victoria had clearly just brought Madison back from the hospital. The injuries from earlier were still visible on Madison's face. Mom, Chloe did this to me. Victoria glared at Chloe. How dare you, Chloe? I took you in out of kindness. And you attacked my daughter? You're vicious. You're an ungrateful brat. Today, I'll... Victoria grabbed and pinched Chloe's arm. You attacked my daughter and still came back? Come on. We're going to the police. This isn't over. Chloe frowned and forcefully shook Victoria off, only to get slapped. How dare you fight back? Victoria's nails scratched the side of Chloe's face. Several bloody marks appeared. Suddenly, headlights shone on the 3 of them. My parents and I stepped out of a car. 2 more cars pulled up beside us. The Hayes family's bodyguards and lawyer got out. Victoria had never seen a show of force like this and froze. Daniel, Laura, what are you? Mom rushed over and helped Chloe up. Don't touch me. Seeing the bloody scratches, Mom snapped. Mrs. Whitmore, how could you be so cruel? Victoria's smile vanished. Daniel, Laura, this girl attacked Madison at school. I lost my temper and disciplined her. Mom glared at Victoria. You just lost your temper and disciplined her? You locked Chloe out before, and left her freezing outside all night. Was that just discipline, too? You're clearly unfit to care for Chloe. Let us take her in. What? Before Victoria could react, Jonathan stepped forward and handed her some documents. Mrs. Whitmore, your actions have broken the law. If you don't want us to sue, I suggest you hand Chloe over peacefully. Victoria froze. Mom, if they want her, let them have her. That's one less mouth to feed. Victoria studied the papers. She wasn't as foolish as Madison. What do I get if you take her? She's still my husband's illegitimate child. I can't just give her away for nothing. I scoffed at her words. That was Victoria. She always tried to squeeze out a profit. Seeing Dad about to offer her something, I cut in. Mrs. Whitmore, you abused Chloe. If word gets around, it'll only hurt you and the Whitmore family. We're helping you, yet you're demanding payment? We have nothing to offer. Let's settle this in court. Once the police get involved, your actions could even land you in jail. The Hayes family could still take custody of Chloe. Victoria went pale at my words. Mom, just sign. I don't want to see her anyway. Victoria felt the same. But giving Chloe away without getting anything left a bitter taste in her mouth. Seeing Victoria hesitate, I said, Mom, Dad, stop being pushovers. We tried helping her for old time's sake, but she refused. Let's go straight to the police. No need to waste time here. When I turned toward the car, Victoria panicked. I'll sign. Victoria quickly grabbed a pen. Without even reading the documents, she signed them. Watching from nearby, I smirked. Take her, but don't call the police. Mom ignored her and helped Chloe into the car. Chloe had a high fever and had just been slapped. She was barely conscious and I grew worried. Mom, Chloe's fever is too high. We should take her to the hospital first. Right, the hospital. Martin, hurry. Late that night in the hospital room, my parents went to handle the admission paperwork. I stayed beside Chloe's bed. Her fever had hit 102 degrees. The slap had left her left cheek red and swollen, with 3 bloody scratches. Her face looked better only after the doctor treated it. Mom. In her feverish haze, Chloe suddenly grabbed my hand. Its cool touch seemed to ease the heat inside her. Chloe's eyes suddenly flew open. Her sudden awakening startled me. You're awake. When she said nothing, I touched her forehead. It was still burning hot. Your fever's high. You're in the hospital. My parents are handling your admission. We can go home first thing tomorrow. At the word home, Chloe's eyes dimmed. I continued, my home. You'll never have to go back to the Whitmores. Chloe froze, still dazed from the fever. She wasn't fully conscious yet. She didn't remember what happened outside the Whitmore residence. My parents entered and saw that Chloe was awake. Mom approached her and said gently, Chloe, get some rest here. Mr. Hayes and I will take you home tomorrow morning. I've called the school. Go back when you're better. Chloe's eyes reddened. Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. It's okay. We're family now. Mom gently stroked Chloe's head. Mom, Dad, go home. I'll stay with her. I can head to school from here tomorrow. Mom looked at me, then at the weak Chloe. She probably agreed Chloe shouldn't be left alone. So she said yes. Dad still looked worried. Should I hire someone to stay with you? No, Dad. It's only one night. Just have Martin pick us up tomorrow. I insisted, so Dad finally agreed. After they left, I comforted Chloe. Get some rest. You won't have to work so hard anymore. You won't go without dinner or be locked out again. Starting today, we're your family. Hearing my gentle voice, Chloe pressed her lips together. She slept peacefully through the night. Early the next morning, Dad sent Martin to take Chloe home. St. Catherine Medical Center wasn't far from Reborn High School, so I walked to school. As luck would have it, Madison had the Whitmore driver pick up Noah along the way. I caught them holding hands. I tried to ignore them, but Noah called out, Ethan, why are you walking to school today? Still holding Madison's hand, Noah approached me as if showing off. Ethan, walking to school must be tiring. You probably don't live far away. Madison can pick us both up from now on. No thanks. Our homes aren't in the same direction. I couldn't be bothered with them. As I turned to leave, Madison stopped me. Ethan, Noah's being nice. What's with your attitude? He's being nice, but I don't want his help. Happy? I walked right past them. Noah said in an aggrieved tone, I was only trying to help. Did Ethan misunderstand me? I should explain it to him. You don't owe him anything. Noah, you're just too kind. Listening to Madison and Noah, I felt utterly disgusted. Finally, I stopped and walked back to them. As everyone watched, I pulled a water bottle from my bag and splashed Noah with it. Seeing Noah get humiliated, Madison snapped, Ethan, what are you doing? Now you don't have to feel guilty. I turned and left. Madison was about to attack me, but a security guard came out of the school. Me splashing Noah outside the school quickly became the hottest gossip on campus. Even my classmates started looking at me differently. Finals were only 3 days away. The classroom was tense during lunch. Chloe had been doing much better since joining the Hayes family. Her monthly test scores were exceptional. She'd already ranked in the top 5, but now she'd locked down first place. With Chloe's help, I stayed firmly in the top 10. The class kept gossiping about the Whitmore family. News of their looming bankruptcy could no longer be hidden. Did you hear? The Whitmore family is going bankrupt. That's nonsense. How could the Whitmores go bankrupt? The Whitmores are one of Rivorton's biggest families. Really? My dad told me. Before Madison's dad died, he racked up huge debts. Their business has struggled ever since. They're basically broke. Just then, Noah walked into class. Dylan rushed over to gossip. Noah, did you hear? Madison's family is almost bankrupt. Bankrupt? Come on. Madison just took me car shopping. She said when I turn 18 next year, she'll buy me a Mercedes-Benz. If they were going broke, would she just buy me a car? Exactly. A family that big can't go bankrupt. Everyone soon looked at Noah with envy again. Hearing Madison would buy him a car, they crowded around him. The noise was getting on my nerves, so I grabbed my worksheets and left the classroom. Ethan's been getting rides in luxury cars lately. Where does he get the money for all those different cars? Isn't he the low-income student? What if his family's actually loaded? No way. If Ethan isn't the low-income student, then who is it in our grade? Hearing everyone talk, Noah panicked that they might suspect him. He pretended to stay calm and said, I heard Ethan's dad drives for some rich family. His boss is away, so he gets to use their luxury cars. So that's it. Ethan used to walk to school. How'd he suddenly get luxury rides? His dad's just using his boss's car to pick him up. Please, I thought Ethan was somebody important, so it was all an act. Watching the others sneer at Ethan, Noah grew uneasy. I can't let anyone know I'm the only low-income student in junior year. Everything I've built at school would be ruined. I worked through practice problems in the reading nook. A bottle of milk suddenly appeared in front of me. I looked up and saw Chloe. Mrs. Hayes asked me to give you this. I casually took the milk. When did my mom give you this? How come I didn't know? Ever since Chloe moved in with us, we'd gone to and from school together every day. I clearly remembered leaving home with Chloe that morning. How could Mom have given Chloe milk for me? I quickly realized Chloe had saved up to buy it. I skipped lunch and my stomach was already growling. I looked uncertainly at the milk. I'm dieting. Is milk at lunch really okay? Skim milk. You can drink it. I eagerly poked the straw into the bottle. The sweet, creamy taste was incredibly satisfying. Chloe, you're such a great student. Why were you in class F? If you were in honors class A, we could study together every break. Chloe was quiet for a moment, then asked, You want me in honors class A? I nodded as I drank my milk. Of course. Chloe said nothing. I thought she didn't want to face Madison in honors class A. I was just saying, if you don't want to transfer back, don't. I'll try. I froze. I'll try to find a way back into honors class A. Really? Yeah, really. Before I could celebrate, the bell-ending lunch break rang. Chloe gathered my books and smiled. Class is starting. Go work on your problems. I nodded. When I got back to class, Noah was showing off to the other students again, bragging about some expensive gift Madison bought him. When Noah's eyes landed on me, there was an obvious flash of provocation. I ignored him. The prouder Noah was now, the more he'd regret it later. It didn't show day to day, but by finals, Noah would realize how far behind he'd fallen. 3 days later, finals arrived. Based on our last test scores, Chloe, Madison, Noah, and I were assigned to the same room. This exam was harder than the last one. I breezed through it and finished 20 minutes early. Noah wasn't doing nearly as well. After the test, Noah looked pale. Noah used to be the class heartthrob and a top student, so everyone wanted to be his friend. As usual, everyone compared answers with Noah. Normally, Noah would patiently go through them. As usual, everyone compared answers with Noah. Normally, Noah would patiently go through them. But this time, Noah got up early. I'm not feeling well. I'm going to the restroom. Seeing Noah looked unwell, Madison anxiously went to check on him. One look at Noah told me I'd been right. Noah must have done terribly on these finals. 3 days later, the final results came out. Chloe shot straight to first in the grade. With Chloe's tutoring, I placed third. But Noah, who had ranked near the top, dropped to below 50th place. Madison also fell to 20th. At the podium, Miss Collins looked at Noah, her tone turning colder. Noah, have a parent come in before you leave at noon. Noah went pale. Miss Collins, my dad's busy. He may not have time. What about your mom? When she mentioned his mother, Noah looked even worse. No one knew why Noah stayed quiet. But I knew Frank and Evelyn had divorced long ago. Frank had raised Noah alone. But in front of his classmates and teacher, Noah couldn't admit his parents were divorced. Ms. Collins looked helpless when he said nothing. Noah, your grades have dropped too much. Busy or not, a parent must come at noon. Then she assigned summer homework, giving Noah no chance to argue. Thinking about his driver father coming to school, Noah was on edge. If the class found out, his lie would be exposed. At noon, the other students packed up and headed home for summer break. But Dylan and a few others stayed. Madison stayed by Noah's side, too. That made Noah anxious. Noah had told Frank to come at 12:30. He wanted Madison and the other students gone first, so no one would learn who his father was. But Madison was worried about him, so she insisted on staying until Ms. Collins finished lecturing him. Dylan and the others said the same, wanting to stay and comfort Noah. What they didn't realize was, Noah didn't need comfort. He just needed them to leave fast. Otherwise, his massive lie wouldn't hold up. I deliberately packed my practice sheets slowly. Chloe saw that only Madison's group was left outside, so she came in. Chloe came over to help pack my bag. But I covered her hand and gave her a look. After spending this time with the Hayes family, Chloe quickly understood what I was up to. She pulled over a chair and sat beside me. Didn't you say there was a problem you couldn't solve? I'll teach you now. I was still looking for an excuse to stay and watch the show. Chloe had handed me the perfect excuse, so I quickly pulled out a worksheet and pointed at a random question. This one. Chloe took the textbook and leisurely looked it over. Meanwhile, Noah was panicking nearby. It was bad enough that Madison and Dylan hadn't left, but why were Ethan and Chloe still here too? When the classroom clock hit 3, Noah finally couldn't hold it in. Madison, Dylan, you should go home. I'll be fine alone. No, I'm staying with you. If that old hag gives you trouble, she'll answer to me. Yeah, Noah, we're here. Don't worry, your grades only slipped a little. Do they really need to call your parents? Since Dylan's group wouldn't leave, Noah tried persuading Madison first. Madison, you should go. My dad doesn't approve of me dating. I'm afraid he'll get mad if he sees you. Okay, text me when you get home. Noah nodded. He couldn't wait for Madison to leave. Before she left, Madison told Dylan's group to take good care of Noah. Watching Madison fuss over Noah, Dylan and the others looked envious. Dylan saw me working at the front and deliberately spoke up like I couldn't hear. Miss Whitmore is so good to our Noah. I heard she's already planning to propose. Noah, the Ashford family runs a huge business. You'll probably get engaged after graduation, right? I don't know about that. How could you not know? Miss Whitmore loves you so much. She'd never let you study abroad alone. Maybe the Whitmores will ask your family first. Exactly. Noah is handsome, sweet, and the Ashford heir. He's perfect for Miss Whitmore. How could she let our Noah study abroad alone? She'll definitely go with you. Watching their eager faces, Noah could almost see himself marrying into a wealthy family. I sneered inwardly at that. 3 years after graduation, we had a class reunion. By then, Noah had returned from studying overseas and was dating a wealthy foreign woman. They soon got engaged and Madison was there. When Madison heard Noah was engaged, she didn't spare me a thought. Her eyes immediately turned red. She even chased Noah outside to speak to him alone. By then, I was already Madison's husband. Her actions humiliated me in front of everyone. Later, the Whitmores grew bigger and bigger, and Madison became one of Rivorton's top business leaders. That was when Noah's wife lost her business and jumped to her death. Only then did he return and rekindle things with Madison. And so Madison could divorce me. She had me locked in a psychiatric hospital. Thinking of my past life, I suddenly snapped my pencil. Chloe watched me silently. The sound caught Dylan's group's attention. What? Someone can't stand hearing it? Noah was born for wealth, Ethan. Don't be jealous. Maybe if you're born rich in your next life, Miss Whitmore might like you. They didn't even try to hide their mockery. But Chloe wouldn't take it. She stood and walked up to Dylan. She kicked Dylan's desk. The students who were jeering instantly went quiet. Just then, a middle-aged man's voice came from outside. Is this Class A? The man was in his 40s, with an average build and a weathered face. Gray streaks showed in his hair, and he was dressed like a driver. His sneakers were worn out, and his hands were rough. If I wasn't mistaken, this was Noah's father. Noah hadn't expected Frank so soon. Before he could think of an excuse, Dylan asked, "Who are you?" Every other student sized Frank up. Frank gave an honest smile. "I'm Han. I'm the family's driver." Noah blurted out in panic. He rushed to Frank's side. Under Frank's puzzled gaze, he said, "My dad's busy, so he sent our driver. So you're the Ashford family's driver." I knew Mr. Ashford wouldn't dress like that. Makes sense. Noah's dad is the CEO of Ashford Group. He's busy every day. How could he come to school? Dylan and the others chimed in one after another, making Noah smile awkwardly. Frank clearly understood. His son had been lying to classmates and posing as an Ashford heir. He tugged at Noah. Noah, how could you? Watch yourself. Who said you could call me by my name? You're just a driver for the Ashford family. Disrespect me again and I'll have you fired. Exactly. How dare some driver grab the boss's son? Know your place. Frank's face darkened. Noah feared that if they stayed, Frank would reveal he wasn't an Ashford heir. He immediately shoved Frank along. The teacher's waiting in the office. Go already. Seeing his son so frantic, Frank knew Noah was afraid of being exposed. Frank hated what Noah was doing, but he wanted his son to have an easier time at school, so he nodded humbly and left. Dylan said unhappily, Noah, your driver has no manners. He probably thinks that because he's worked for the Ashfords so long, he can throw his weight around. Noah listened as his classmates looked down on his father, forcing a strained smile. As I pretended to work nearby, I wore an amused smile. What are you laughing at? It's funny. What's funny about it? You wouldn't get it, but I'm sure you will someday. Watching Noah panic about being exposed, I felt incredibly satisfied. I wondered, when Noah's lies finally came out, how would he get out of it? Half an hour passed. Frank came out of the office with a dark expression. When Noah saw Frank's face, he went pale. But Dylan and the others were still there, so Noah forced himself to stay calm and walked over. Everything's settled, right? Then hurry up and take me home. He desperately wanted to get Frank out of there, but Dylan suddenly stepped forward. Noah desperately wanted to get Frank out of there, but Dylan suddenly stepped forward. Mr. Driver. Noah just didn't do well this time. You know what to tell your boss, right? Frank stayed silent. Thinking he didn't know his place, Dylan added, Miss Whitmore told us to take good care of Noah. If you dare tell anyone, not only us, but Miss Whitmore won't let you off either. Dylan thought he'd made his threat clear. I nearly burst out laughing from my seat. Perfect. His grades tanked and his father got called in. Noah couldn't say a word. He hurriedly shoved Frank toward the door. Enough. I'm in a hurry. Go get the car. Frank was barely holding back his anger. He shoved Noah away and slapped him. The slap left one side of Noah's face burning. Dylan instantly got angry. Are you crazy? Noah's the young master. You're just a driver. Who gave you the nerve to hit Noah? Because I'm his. Enough. The slap caught Frank completely off guard. He staggered back several steps. Noah raised his chin, his voice threatening. We're at school. You'd hit me in front of everyone? I know my dad gave you permission to discipline me, but you're just a driver for the Ashford family. Don't think you can actually boss me around. I know my dad gave you permission to discipline me, but you're just a driver for the Ashford family. Don't think you can actually boss me around. Now go get the car. Do you want everyone laughing at the Ashford family? Every word reminded Frank they were at school, with students all around. Furious as he was, Frank had no choice but to storm off. Inside, I craned my neck to watch, but Chloe packed all my worksheets into my bag. By the time I noticed, my desk was already spotless. Chloe tapped me on the head. Show's over. Let's go home. We left the classroom one after the other. When summer break began, Chloe made me a special workout plan. After over 2 months of hard work, I'd slimmed down to 143 pounds. Summer was the perfect time for one final push. By August, summer break was almost over. One day, our class group chat suddenly blew up. I opened the chat and saw Noah inviting everyone to Pinecrest Lodge. Everyone jumped at the invitation. I smirked when I saw the message. Noah must have feared Frank's school visit, had made everyone question his identity. So he found a chance to prove he was the Ashford heir. He chose his words carefully, only inviting us to Pinecrest Lodge. He never said his family owned it. That would save him plenty of trouble later. I rolled over in bed. He never said his family owned it. That would save him plenty of trouble later. I rolled out of bed and hurried to Chloe's room next door. I didn't knock. When I opened the door, Chloe was reading by the window. I grinned and asked, Chloe, are you free the day after tomorrow? Why? Noah from my class invited everyone to Pinecrest Lodge. Want to come with me? At the mention of Noah, Chloe's smile disappeared. No. You sure? Yeah. There's going to be a show. I'm not in honors class yet. You go. Be careful. Chloe wasn't interested, so I didn't push her. As I turned to leave, Chloe suddenly said, Send me the address. Changed your mind? No. If it gets late, I'll ask Martin to pick you up. I nodded. Okay, got it. I'd hoped to bring Chloe along for the show, but she had zero interest, so I'd have to enjoy it alone. 2 days later, I headed to Pinecrest Lodge in the mountains outside Reborn. Despite the name, it was really a huge villa with a courtyard. The other students had already arrived. Noah wore casual clothes, as if he'd lived there for years. He welcomed everyone into the living room. Make yourselves at home. Dylan and the others had never seen a villa this big. They were speechless. Noah, your house is huge. Yeah, Noah, you don't even live here? That's insanely lavish. Everyone kept marveling at it. Many students in honors class A came from wealthy families, but they only had luxury condos or small suburban villas. They couldn't compare to the Ashford family. Noah just smiled without answering. By the way, Noah, where's Miss Whitmore? Why didn't she come with you? Noah put his hands in his pockets. Madison will be here soon. Let's have fun until then. Is everyone here? Feels like someone's missing. It's Ethan. He isn't here yet. Maybe he's too embarrassed to show up. I doubt it. He's been into Miss Whitmore for 2 years. He'd never miss a chance to get near her. Their mockery filled the room. Just then, the front gate bell rang. Dylan jumped up first. That must be Miss Whitmore. I'll get it. Dylan went to open the gate, but found a strikingly handsome guy outside. Dylan froze. Who are you? I'm Ethan Hayes. Ethan? Hearing that, Noah came over. Dylan, what's taking so long? Dylan might have been his best friend, but Noah still feared he'd steal Madison. But when Noah came over, he looked up and saw my handsome face. He froze, unable to recognize me. I spoke first. Noah, forgot me already? Noah's smile instantly stiffened. I glanced inside. What? Aren't you letting me in? When neither Noah nor Dylan answered, I rolled my suitcase inside myself. By the time they recovered, I was already in the living room. The girls had been chatting and laughing, but looked up to see a handsome guy rolling in a suitcase. Several of them stared in disbelief. Since when did their class have someone this hot? Noah ran in after me. Ethan, you. When everyone heard Noah call me Ethan, someone exclaimed, That's Ethan? Are you kidding? There's no way. At first, no one believed it, but after studying my face, they recognized my familiar features. Ethan? It really is Ethan. Seeing my transformation, everyone looked amazed. Only Noah looked upset. He never expected me to transform in one summer. I'd actually lost the weight. If Madison saw Ethan like this, would she start seeing him differently? Long time no see, everyone. My parents recently went on a business trip, so I brought you some gifts. Hope you like them. I opened the suitcase. It was packed with imported watches, expensive electronics, and designer jewelry. The moment my classmates saw them, they rushed over. Whoa, that's a luxury watch. Ethan, did your parents travel overseas? Isn't this bracelet limited edition? I heard it's really expensive. And this game console costs thousands. They completely forgot Noah was the host. Seeing a suitcase of gifts worth 6 figures, Noah looked even worse. I looked at Noah and Dylan. Noah, Dylan, come pick something too. When Dylan first saw the suitcase, his eyes lit up. But then he remembered. Noah had said my dad was only a driver, and my family had no money. How could one business trip produce such expensive gifts? Dylan scoffed. Why bother? They're probably knockoffs. Dylan, Ethan's being generous. Why say that? Exactly. This is clearly genuine. It even has foreign labels and an authenticity mark. If you don't want one, Dylan, don't accuse Ethan. Everyone switched sides fast, and Dylan started wavering. I was already sitting on a nearby couch, watching everyone happily choose their gifts. When Noah still didn't come over, I smiled and asked, Noah, does Pinecrest Lodge belong to your family? It's huge. The simple question put Noah on the spot. Pinecrest Lodge wasn't his at all. It was merely a villa the Ashfords rarely used. He'd only gotten the key because the entire Ashford family was traveling abroad. He'd asked his driver father to borrow it through the Ashfords' housekeeper. But now, everyone was staring at Noah. After seeing all the expensive gifts I'd brought, Noah forced himself to answer, Why yeah, it's ours. Why doesn't a villa this big have any staff? My next question left Noah speechless. Getting the key had been hard enough. Where could he find a housekeeper? The other students found it odd, too. Yeah, Noah, there aren't any housekeepers or guards. Who normally takes care of this huge place? Noah quickly improvised. Well, since everyone was coming over, I gave them the day off. I didn't want them ruining our fun. When Noah found an excuse, I pretended to worry. But we're all hungry. Without staff, who's cooking? I am, of course. I'll cook for everyone myself. Noah was fairly confident in his cooking. When no one objected, I smiled and continued, It'll be great having you cook, Noah. I heard families who run companies like Ashford Group eat sea cucumber and abalone every day, plus imported wagyu and foie gras. I've always wanted to try them, Noah. We came all this way. You prepared all that, right? Sea cucumber, abalone, wagyu, foie gras, where could he get any of that? Before Noah could answer, the others joined in. Yeah, Noah. Ethan brought us all these gifts. We want to try those delicacies. You're not too stingy, are you? Don't be ridiculous. Noah's the Ashford heir. Why would he skimp on one meal? It's nothing special to him, right, Noah? Noah went pale. He'd only prepared some skewers to grill over charcoal that evening. But I'd raised everyone's expectations. How could he admit it? When Noah said nothing, I stood up. I'm sure Noah prepared it. Let me see. What goodies are in the kitchen? I started toward the kitchen. Noah immediately blocked me. He forced a smile. Of course I prepared everything. You all came so far. The ingredients are still on the way. If we're eating it, it should be fresh, right? Thinking a feast was coming, everyone nodded. I raised an eyebrow. Fresh seafood this deep in the mountains? Noah clearly hadn't prepared anything. I wanted to see how he'd get out of this. While no one was watching, Noah slipped into the courtyard and quickly called Madison. Madison sounded irritated. What is it? Madison, when you come over, can you bring some abalone and sea cucumber? Abalone and sea cucumber? You didn't prepare food? Everyone suddenly wants abalone, sea cucumber, wagyu, and foie gras. I don't know where to get them. Madison was silent for a moment. I'll figure something out. Noah's eyes lit up. Thank you, Madison. I don't know what I'd do without you. Noah was focused solely on easing everyone's suspicions. He never noticed something was off with Madison. Nearby, I leaned against the doorway and watched Noah secretly call Madison. I raised an eyebrow and smiled. I thought Noah had come up with something clever. He was just begging Madison for help. But things had changed. Hayes Holdings had pulled its funding, and the Whitmores were in crisis. They could no longer afford to bankroll Noah for Madison. Just then, my phone rang. I smirked at the caller ID. Even fate was on my side. I answered. Ethan, are you free today? Mrs. Whitmore, did you need something? I've missed you. I'd like to treat you to dinner today. Could you come by the house? Her tone made her scheme obvious. I glanced at Noah, still waiting for Madison outside. Will Madison be there? Of course. She misses you too. She knows she offended you before and feels terrible. I'll have her apologize today. I see. Sure. I'll see you shortly. Shortly? Yes. I have plans tonight. Let's make it lunch. I'll be there soon. Is that a problem? Then forget it. No, not at all. It's no problem. I'll start cooking and wait for you. Okay. I hung up and sneered inwardly. Victoria worshipped money and loved playing games. If she was this desperate to see me, the Whitmores were in serious trouble. I wasn't in a hurry and returned to the living room. It was almost noon, and everyone was hungry. Noah kept staring outside, waiting for Madison to bring the ingredients. Finally, someone complained, Noah, I'm starving. When are we eating? Yeah, it's almost noon. It's almost noon. Are we still getting that feast? As the complaints grew, Noah tried to calm everyone. Soon. It'll be here soon. I'll call and check. Noah pulled out his phone and called Madison. But the line stayed busy, and no one answered. Noah's expression darkened. Seeing my chance, I stood with a smile. Noah's expression darkened. Seeing my chance, I stood with a smile. Looks like the food isn't coming. Something came up at home, so I'm leaving. Have fun. My words made everyone restless. They'd been there for hours, without even getting hot tea. Noah tried to stop me, but I'd already grabbed my suitcase and waved goodbye. Just then, a luxury car pulled up outside. Everyone thought lunch had finally arrived, but Chloe stepped out instead. Holding a sun umbrella, Chloe walked over to me. Under the sunlight, Chloe and I looked like a perfect couple. Our classmates all stared. Why did Chloe come pick Ethan up herself? Are they dating? Who knows? But Ethan's family sure doesn't look poor. There's no way he's low income. The watches Ethan handed out cost 5 figures each. The gossip spread through the crowd. Even Dylan began questioning what he'd heard about me. Ethan doesn't seem like a driver's son, Noah. Could you have gotten it wrong? Yeah. Now that he's slimmed down, Ethan's pretty handsome. Pretty handsome? He's gorgeous. Their excited chatter left Noah bitter. He looked down at his phone, unable to understand why Madison wouldn't answer. He had no idea that, at Whitmore residence, Madison sat staring at her phone on the table. He had no idea that, at Whitmore residence, Madison sat staring at her phone on the table. Victoria had reheated the food countless times. She said coldly, when Ethan gets here, watch your attitude. Ethan is the only son-in-law our family needs. Victoria snatched Madison's phone off the table. Then she glanced at the food Madison had snuck out lobster, abalone, and sea cucumber and snapped, you'd better dump that boyfriend of yours. Madison's face darkened. Don't talk about him like that. He's no good guy. He only wants our money and a way into high society. I've seen plenty of men like him. Only you would fall for someone like that. Our family is at the end of its rope. The Hayes family pulled its funding. Your father's business is about to collapse. If you want to remain the Whitmore heiress, you'd better win Ethan over. Marrying him soon is your only smart move. As Victoria lectured Madison, someone knocked. Victoria quickly composed herself and approached the door with a smile. But when she opened it, she didn't see me. It was Dad's assistant, Simon. And you are? Mrs. Whitmore, I'm very sorry. Young Master Ethan had something come up and can't make it. He sent me to let you know. What? He's not coming? Hearing I wasn't coming instantly set Madison off. We've been waiting for hours. What? He's not coming? Hearing I wasn't coming instantly set Madison off. We've waited for hours and reheated the food 3 times. He's already hours late. Yet Ethan only sent an assistant to say he can't come. He's clearly messing with us. Madison jumped up and stormed out. Madison, where are you going? Come back. Madison ignored Victoria and got into her car. She floored it and sped toward the Hayes estate. Chloe and I were having lunch at home when Madison started shouting outside. Ethan Hayes, open this gate. My parents were at work, so only Chloe and I were home. I walked to the window and glanced at Madison raging outside the Hayes estate. I raised an eyebrow and smiled. In my last life, once the Whitmores gained power, the Hayes family was their first target and our business collapsed. I remembered Madison refusing to even meet my parents. Now she was getting a taste of the humiliation my parents suffered. Ethan, I know you're in there. Open up. Madison was furious. Inside, Chloe walked to the house phone and called estate security. Someone's causing trouble. Please remove her. She hung up and returned to the table. Sit down and eat. I looked outside and saw 2 guards restraining Madison by the arms. She fought hard but was still shoved to the ground. One guard snapped impatiently, move along. Get out and stop causing trouble. I'm here for Ethan. Tell him to come out. Leave now or we're calling the police. Madison had never been treated like this. Her face darkened. I'm the Whitmore heiress. Who gave you the nerve to treat me this way? The Whitmores? You're not fit to shine the Hayes family's shoes. Besides, your family's going bankrupt. You didn't know? Some heiress. In a few days, you'll probably be starving. News about the Whitmores had already spread through high society. Almost every guard in the neighborhood knew. Madison's expression turned icy. What nonsense are you talking about? Looks like Miss Whitmore hasn't heard. Your family owes a fortune. If Mr. Hayes hadn't kept your projects afloat, you'd have gone bankrupt long ago. Your family betrayed the Hayes family first. Yet you still have the nerve to come after young Master Ethan. You're lucky we're only throwing you out. The guard's words crushed Madison's pride. She recalled Victoria saying the Whitmores were finished. She'd assumed Victoria only said it to make her marry me, and had exaggerated their situation. But it was all true. Save your breath. Instead of chasing young Master Ethan, worry about keeping your title as the Whitmore heiress. With that, the guards slammed the estate's iron gate shut. Madison clenched her fists. So this is how Ethan and the Hayes family want to play it. Madison angrily got in her car and left. Watching her speed away, I felt deeply satisfied. She couldn't handle even that little humiliation. The real suffering hadn't even begun. When my parents came home that evening, Dad fumed. Madison actually had the nerve to cause a scene here? I tried to calm him. Dad, don't be mad. If it bothers you, we'll hang a sign outside next time. It'll say, no Madison Whitmore or dogs allowed. Dad's expression finally softened. You little troublemaker. Still, the Whitmores have gone too far. How could they act like this? I treated Madison so well before, yet she turned out to be an ungrateful snake. Once the mood was right, I asked, Mom, Dad, didn't Richard own shares in Hayes Holdings? And don't we own shares in Whitmore Industries? That's right. My classmates said. The Whitmores are in serious trouble. Since our families have cut ties, why not have a lawyer buy back their Hayes Holdings shares? It would give them some relief. In return, they should buy back our shares. In Whitmore Industries, I knew Dad was soft-hearted. He might be refusing to help Whitmore Industries now, but he could easily cave later. And with their shares in Hayes Holdings, the Whitmores received 8-figure dividends every month. That gave them room to recover. I wanted to make sure they could never recover. I wanted them to know what it felt like to be penniless. Dad carefully considered it. You're right. Our families have cut ties anyway. We should settle our business interests. His agreement lifted a weight off my shoulders. When the Whitmores collapsed, I couldn't let Dad lose his entire investment. Getting the money back now would cut our losses and fully separate us from Whitmore Industries. Besides, I remembered that, in my last life, the Whitmores faced more than bankruptcy. Their real problem was debt. But back then, I'd already married Madison, and our families owned shares in each other's companies. The Hayes family had to spend a fortune bailing them out. This time, Madison would have to save herself. Chloe remained silent throughout dinner. I noticed she seemed down. She rarely looked like that. Chloe, are you upset? You really care about the Whitmores? Care about them? In a way, I certainly did. I cared about when they'd go bankrupt, and when Madison would lose everything. But I couldn't say that aloud. I looked at her, confused. Why would you say that? Do you care about the family or Madison? Seeing how serious Chloe was, I laughed. I don't care about the Whitmores or Madison. I care about protecting our family from their mess and their debts. Don't worry. I know how badly they treated you. I'd never feel sorry for them. Chloe, I'll always be on your side. Chloe froze and took a long moment to recover. You'll always be on my side? Of course. What about Madison? What does she have to do with me? You used to really like her. Exactly. I used to. People have to move on. I liked her before, but I don't anymore. Then who do you like now? I love my family and myself. As Chloe lowered her eyes, I walked over and took her hand. And of course your family too. Chloe's heart suddenly skipped a beat. Family? But she didn't want to be just family. Meanwhile, Noah was cleaning up alone at Pinecrest Lodge. Everyone had left that afternoon, and Madison's no-show had humiliated him in front of the class. Even Dylan made an excuse to leave that evening. The more Noah thought about it, the worse he felt. He pulled out his phone and called Madison again. This time, she finally answered. Noah. Noah didn't notice the exhaustion in Madison's voice. Instead, he snapped. Madison Whitmore, you ignored my calls all day. Where the hell were you? Do you have any idea how badly you humiliated me in front of our class? But this time, Madison remained silent. Noah's heart sank. Realizing something was wrong, he quickly calmed himself. Madison, I'm sorry. I was just angry. I didn't really mean to break up. Are you okay? After a long silence, Madison finally said wearily, Noah, let's take a few days apart. Madison hung up. Noah's face instantly darkened. What could have happened in just one day? By the next day, news of Madison and Noah's fight had spread through the entire class. Noah, usually active in the class chat, didn't say a word all day. The outcome didn't surprise me, but studying mattered more to me than gossip. Dad came home looking troubled. Mom asked anxiously, did something go wrong at work? Why the long face? The Whitmores came by again today, but I turned them away. Ethan mentioned settling our shares last night, but I don't know how to bring it up. We've been friends for over a decade. In my last life, Victoria knew Dad was soft-hearted. She kept asking the Hayes family for help until, eventually, if we ever refused, we were branded heartless monsters. I spoke up. Dad, why not let me and the lawyer handle it? What does a kid know about buying and selling shares? I'm not a little kid. I may not understand shares, but the lawyer does. I'll just convince Mrs. Whitmore to buy back our shares. I promise I won't mess around. Seeing how serious I was, Dad took a breath. Fine, you can try. It's okay if we take a small loss. Just don't make us look heartless. I laughed bitterly to myself. The Hayes family, heartless? We'd done more than enough for the Whitmores, but they were nothing but ungrateful snakes. They never deserved our generosity. This time I was going to bleed them dry. The next day I went over with our lawyer. Victoria was already on edge over Whitmore Industries' crashing stock. When the doorbell rang, she assumed it was a debt collector. She opened the door impatiently. Why are you here so early? I said I'd pay you back. Then Victoria looked up and saw me. Who are you? Mrs. Whitmore, it's Ethan Hayes. When she realized it was me, her jaw dropped. It had only been a few months. How had the chubby Ethan changed so much? Ethan? Is that really you? It is. Something came up last time, so I came by today. You're not mad at me, are you? Victoria beamed. How could I be mad? Come in. Ethan, you're getting more handsome every day. I barely recognized you. Victoria warmly ushered me inside. Ethan, are you here for Madison? I'll call her and tell her to come home. Who knows where she went? I'll give her a good talking to. Victoria happily poured me tea. Don't trouble yourself, Mrs. Whitmore. I'll make sure to give her a good talking to. Victoria happily poured me tea. Don't trouble yourself, Mrs. Whitmore. I'm not here for Madison. I'm here to see you. Me? I glanced at Jonathan beside me. This is the attorney for Hayes Holdings. We're here to discuss buying back some shares. Buying back shares? Victoria's heart skipped a beat. She feared I was after the Whitmore's money. Dad heard Whitmore Industries is in trouble. Since Whitmore Industries still owns shares in Hayes Holdings, he sent our lawyer to buy them back at a premium and help Whitmore Industries through this crisis. My words sounded generous, but I was really cutting all ties. Victoria hesitated. The Whitmores did owe a lot of money. If they couldn't repay it soon, the Whitmore residence might be auctioned off. But if she sold the Hayes Holdings shares, her family would lose its only income. Victoria humbled herself. Ethan, since you brought this up, I have a favor to ask. After Madison's father died, the Hayes family took great care of us. But now we're facing our darkest hour. Would Daniel be willing to help us? With a loan? I promise once Whitmore Industries recovers, we'll repay it immediately. Your family owns shares in Whitmore Industries too. If we make money again, the Hayes family's dividends will only grow. Seeing Victoria's earnest expression, I sneered inwardly. Mrs. Whitmore, the Hayes family's dividends will only grow. Seeing Victoria's earnest expression, I sneered inwardly. Mrs. Whitmore, how much do you need to survive this? Victoria immediately answered, we need another $1 billion. 1 billion more and the Whitmores can survive. At that number, I pretended to struggle. A whole billion? Afraid I'd refuse, Victoria quickly took my hand. Ethan, you're a good kid. Daniel is a good man too. A widow and her daughter have nowhere else to turn. Without that billion, we'll end up on the street. Victoria knew I was as soft-hearted as Dad. She tearfully poured out all her recent troubles. I know Madison behaved terribly before. I've already set her straight. Don't worry, you're the only son-in-law I want. Once you marry Madison, you'll be like a son to me. The Whitmores and Hayes will still be one family. Listening to Victoria's sickening words, I couldn't help pulling my hand away. Mrs. Whitmore, we used to be family. Don't say that. Still, $1 billion is a huge sum. Even the Hayes family has limits. We can't just hand over $1 billion at once. Victoria began to panic. Then what are we supposed to do? Without that $1 billion, in a few days, the creditors will come auction off our house. I tried to calm her down. Mrs. Whitmore, don't panic. We may not have $1 billion to spare, but you do. I don't have $1 billion. Mrs. Whitmore, you hold a 5% stake in Hayes Holdings. It's not much, but it's worth 700 or 800 million. The Whitmores need cash now. That 5% may pay monthly dividends, but dividends won't solve your immediate problem. For old time's sake, I'll make a decision on my own. We'll buy back Whitmore Industries' 5% stake in Hayes Holdings for $1 billion. Then I'll convince Dad to find a way to sell that 5% stake. We may lose a few $100 million, but at least we'll be helping your family. Well, my offer suddenly tempted Victoria. That meant getting an extra 200 or 300 million for nothing. It was 200 or 300 million more than the stake was worth. She'd never find a deal this good anywhere else. Would Daniel really agree to this? My dad's soft-hearted. Leave him to me. He'll agree. Victoria still couldn't decide. She couldn't bear to let go of such a valuable stake. So I pressed on. Mrs. Whitmore, I'm doing this for your own good. I've heard creditors can be ruthless. If you can't pay, they might even cut off your hands and feet. Victoria went pale at the thought. Then I'll give up the shares. When will the money hit my account? Don't worry, Mrs. Whitmore. There's one more thing you have to agree to. What is it? My dad sent me here with another task. I'm helping you with $1 billion favor. So I need you to buy back our 5% stake. In Whitmore Industries, too. But you're the ones pulling out. We really can't afford to pay that much right now. I've already done the math. Whitmore Industries stock has crashed. The shares have lost most of their value. Right now, buying back our 5% stake is the best deal for you. Once the company recovers, you can sell it again. Think about it, Mrs. Whitmore. Our 5% stake in Whitmore Industries used to be worth $1 billion. Now that the stock has crashed, that same 5% is worth less than 200 million. So we're the ones taking the loss. And I just offered you an extra 300 million for your shares. Surely you can do me this small favor. Victoria was dizzy from all my calculations. She was shrewd, but she knew very little about running a company. That made it easy for me to lead her by the nose. You're right. I should help or I'd look heartless. Victoria had hesitated to sell the Hayes Holdings shares, but buying back the Whitmore stake in Hayes Holdings was exactly what she wanted. She could always sell those shares again later, for another payout, and they wouldn't have to share dividends with the Hayes family anymore. Victoria patted my hand. I'll get my private seal and the original share agreement. Good boy. Wait here for me. I smiled and nodded. The second Victoria left, I dropped my smile and calmly took a sip of tea. Mr. Hayes. The lawyer was about to ask a question, but I stopped him with a look. He wisely said nothing more. Victoria soon ran out of the bedroom. We quickly finalized the contract. I got the original share agreement between the Hayes and Whitmore families. Only then did I finally smile. With this, the Hayes family was finally free of the Whitmores. Ethan, what about the money? Don't worry, Mrs. Whitmore. The money will be in your account soon. But let's agree on one thing first. The Whitmores are struggling. I doubt you can come up with the 200 million. You owe Hayes Holdings right away. Victoria nodded in agreement. So I came up with two options. The first is this. We deduct it from the $1 billion we're paying you. The second option is to let the Whitmores owe us the 200 million. I'll have the lawyer draft a contract. You can put up Whitmore assets of equal value as collateral. Collateral? Fine. Victoria chose the second option without hesitation. It was exactly what I wanted. Good. I turned to the lawyer with the laptop. Have you drafted the contract as we discussed? It's ready. The lawyer turned the newly drafted contract toward Victoria and me. Print it out. If it looks good to you, Mrs. Whitmore, we'll sign it today. Then we can transfer the money right away. Victoria nodded repeatedly. She didn't understand contracts, but as long as the terms benefited the Whitmores, she was satisfied. I calmly sipped my tea. After Victoria reviewed, stamped, and signed it, a satisfied smile spread across my face. Mrs. Whitmore, let's use the Whitmore's 5 properties downtown, and 3 cars as collateral. But it still seems a little short. That's a problem. Afraid I'd back out, Victoria quickly said. I still have some jewelry put away. It's worth quite a lot. At least 20 million. Wait here. I'll bring it over. I nodded. That should cover it. Mr. Mercer, please make a note of it. Yes, Mr. Hayes. Jonathan quickly added everything Victoria mentioned to the contract. Once Victoria signed and sealed it, I stood. Once the company seal is added, we'll transfer the money to Whitmore Industries account. Mrs. Whitmore, I'll be going now. You're leaving already? Won't you stay for dinner with Madison? No, thank you, Mrs. Whitmore. I left the Whitmore residence with Mr. Mercer. I was afraid I'd burst out laughing if I stayed another second. Mr. Hayes, was this really appropriate? Why wouldn't it be? All these years, how much money have we given the Whitmores? It's time they paid us back. My expression remained calm. Either way, I won't let the Hayes family make another losing deal. And I won't let the Whitmores take advantage of us. When I got home that evening, Dad was still worried things had gone badly, especially after seeing Jonathan's hesitant expression. Dad sighed. Just tell me how much we lost so I know what to expect. We made 700 million. Made 700 million? Jonathan handed Dad the agreement he'd signed with Victoria that day. Dad opened the contract skeptically. Let me see how you made 700 million. Dad didn't think much of it at first, but the more he read, the more surprised he became. He even put on his reading glasses, looking stunned. Victoria signed all of this? Yes. She agreed to cut ties for just $1 billion. She returned our Hayes Holdings shares and mortgaged the houses and cars to us. Dad, it's all there in black and white. Why would I lie to you? Dad couldn't believe it. Our 5% stake could easily sell for $1.5 billion. Yet the Whitmores returned it for only $1 billion and put up all this collateral. This is unbelievable. What's with all the collateral? Dad, don't we own shares in Whitmore Industries? Mrs. Whitmore couldn't pay for those shares right away. So I told her to put up assets of equal value as collateral. That way she could owe us the money for now. If she can't pay by the deadline, we can auction off the collateral to recover our money. Dad was a little surprised. Before, the Whitmores only signed IOUs for what they owed us. Those IOUs didn't even have repayment dates. Since he'd been friends with the Whitmores for years, Dad had never insisted on strict terms. Over the past year, the Whitmores had racked up tens of millions in debt. But Victoria and Madison kept claiming they couldn't afford to repay us. Dad never expected that I could actually convince Victoria to sign a collateral agreement. Mom spoke up, but Whitmore Industries stock has crashed. That 5% stake isn't worth nearly that much anymore. Why would she offer so much collateral? Mom, the Whitmores used to be a powerful family. Mrs. Whitmore doesn't understand finance. She didn't know what was happening in the market. I flattered the Whitmores a little and she agreed. But isn't that a little unfair? What's unfair about it? The Whitmores have owed us a lot this past year. Neither of them ever intended to pay us back. Today, Mrs. Whitmore showed me her jewelry. It was worth tens of millions. Clearly, they can pay. They just don't want to. Besides, everyone knows the Whitmores are in debt. We're already doing everything we can by paying off their debts. I looked at my parents and said seriously, Mom, Dad, business should be done with honor. But if the other side doesn't appreciate it, we don't have to be soft-hearted. I'll never forget how the Whitmores treated the Hayes family in my last life. This time, I'm simply giving them a taste of their own medicine.